And after I told her, I was about to cry. So I ran, grabbed my dogs, ran to the car, and I cried. And I listened to the radio. I just drove around because I couldn't really believe it. I just drove around.
This is a interview with one of our students. His name is On. And how he went from making $20,000 a year doing Postmates to making between $70,000 to $128,000 as a React.js developer.
Yeah.
He enrolled in the Full Stack Mastery Bootcamp, and now we're going to take it over to On.
And just so you guys know, he started out with basically, he went to a different boot camp, really felt like he was not learning much, really felt like he was about to just go back to a job that he didn't like doing post office or, Amazon Flex. But then he got into here and was able to learn much more and let it job.
So with that said, let's roll the video.
Let's do it.
Everything was hard for me. Like, I did HTML, CSS in high school, which is like 10 plus years ago. And we met with like clients and built basic apps. I built a dog app before I even had a dog. And then JavaScript came around. I had a really hard time learning JavaScript just because I don't understand like the language behind the language, like deconstruct or string or array. Like it wasn't clicking for me. But when I asked for help, the instructor would take 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even more, to even get back to me. And if he gets back to me, he's like, "You can figure it out. Just Google it." I'm like, "What the? Okay. Well, if I needed Google,
that's why you paid so much money. So you can Google it.
I pay $18K for this. Like $18K, I expect to be a developer by the 3rd or 4th month. I'm not putting that amount of money into this investment. So going forward, we learned Express Handlebar, which I found out from Nas and no one does anymore. And then we didn't learn React until like the 4th or 5th month, which was cool. We get into React. I'm getting something that I'm used to. But their way of teaching, it was like, once we pass this topic, there's no going back. You're not going to get help from this unless you do it on your own. There's no like, if we're learning React and I had a question about Node, we're not going to go back. Like, from it, there's nothing. Like, everyone else was, I'm not saying everyone else, but there's a few of us like, I don't know what's going on. So we formed like study groups. We had projects that we worked in groups that we get to choose the people that we get to work with. Thank God I was with someone that did C Sharp, and he was like amazing at coding. So at the time he was trying to teach us React and try to teach himself React. And at the very end, we decided as a group to make a movie app, and we cannot figure out how to do Firebase. We couldn't figure out how to like link Firebase to the app. And then I came across Clever Programmer, when you and Kazi, and I think his name is Sunny, was doing a clone for Spotify. So the part that we couldn't figure out was how to get the music to pop up with React when using the API. So I took some of the code I learned from the Spotify clone and I added to our project, and we were able to pass the project.
Let's go.
So that's awesome. That's amazing. So tell me, like, right, you told me when I got on a call with you, you told me that after the bootcamp that you went to before, you were in a very bad spot. You were in a very bad place. Like, you wanted to go back to work at as a post office man or something, right? So why? Tell me why.
Well, I had some very bad experience. It's just like my grandma got cancer, so I was focusing on like her more. So that's one problem. 2 is like just the experience of like the instructors. Like, do you really like your motto of the school is we care about the students. We want the students to succeed. Everything is about the student. But once I got that certificate, I don't even want to look at the certificate. It's sitting right here next to me. And every day I look at this and I was like, I didn't learn anything. I can't use this. Like, it can probably get me an interview, but it can't get me a job. So when I was sitting there, shoot. At that time, it was hard, family problems, stuff like that. And then to make my grandma proud, all she ever wanted was just me have a job. I'm not end up in jail. She was very basic. As long as I'm not in jail, I can do whatever the hell I want. But she was like, do something that makes you happy. And I was like, well, at that time, I'm going to do something that makes you happy. So I'm going to apply for Boeing. I'm applied to be work at Postman. I did Amazon Flex for a few months, something just to get by, pay bills. But I came across, because of the Spotify clone, I said that I'm gonna give Clever Programmer a try. So I signed up for PWJ, and Kasi called me that night, and I felt big fanboy ever. I was kind of embarrassing, but the whole time he was talking to me about welcoming into PWJ, I was like, I can't believe I'm talking to you right now. I was just watching you 8 hours a day, just like last week. And then you're actually calling my phone at 10 p.m. at night. And the whole time he was like introducing PWJ to me, like we're happy to have you join a community. This is a lifetime thing. And the whole time I was just like, man, I can't believe you're calling me right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The first time he called, I was like, man, this is probably something new. But I was still in the mood of like, I don't want to code no more. Like, if this is how coding is, like if the school is like this, imagine how the work is like. Like if I'm behind, is everyone gonna be like, nah, he's done. No, we don't care. We got his money already, or we're only paying him a certain amount. Let's just move on or find someone else to replace him. So I just thought if it's doggy dog like that, then I'd rather just work for a doggy dog company and just, go on forward. So and then you guys posted React Amazon phone and then React portfolio. I said, man, I got a little bit of money from Amazon Flex. I'm just gonna join. It's what, a weekend, 8 hours a day. I'm not doing it. I'll just do Amazon Flex in like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I come home, take a nap, and I'll do this every single day. And then introducing boot camp at the very end. At first, I was like, man, another boot camp. Do I want to get yelled at?
Here we go.
Dude, how is this gonna work? I have no money. I had like I had 17.
Yeah, so this is definitely one of the things I'm interested in knowing. It's like you went to a boot camp already, you invested in it, you had a bad experience, and you had very little money. So what was going through your head when you decided to join this again? Another boot camp.
Yeah, so I had a phone call with Daniel, and Daniel was like, you sound like you really want to do this, but I'm not gonna pass you on to Frankie, aka Timmy, until you are dedicated to this. And I really want to get good at coding. I liked it in high school. No one really liked high school, but then I wanted to do something different. I wanted from further on, I don't want to be like, hey, my kid's gonna be like, oh, he's just another mailman. There's no shout out to mailmans or people that work for Boeing, all this other stuff. But I wanted to be something different where I can teach one day, if I'm blessed to have a kid, I can teach him how to program and learn the ins and out of the computers and stuff like that, software, because down the road tech is going to be the one biggest thing in the world. Tech is only getting it.
Yep.
So I had a talk with Frankie. I called him Timmy at first because I thought that was his name.
That's hilarious. You're talking about because you saw the Facebook ad, right? That we made. Just a funny.
I was like, man, your name was Timmy, man. You lied to me already. And then right there and then there was that first obstacle is the money deposit down. Like for a Clever Programmer to believe in you, you also have to invest in yourself to become part of Clever Programmer. So he gave me a week, and I have a pride to not ask people for money because I don't know, maybe that's just the Asian thing, but it shows kind of like weakness or something like that. But I asked my sister, and then I asked my brother. My sister was like, come on, man, you just did a boot camp. Why are you doing another one? Like, typical Asian. And then my brother didn't say anything at first. He's a very to himself type of guy. And then the next day, let's say Tuesday, he was like, hey, do a down payment and pay the rest with Amazon Flex. But
Wow.
I don't need this money back. I just want you to have fun, learn how to code, do what you love, and not have an excuse that money is the reason why you couldn't do this. So he works at construction sites, so he makes a lot of money. But he says that you're my brother, so I have to take care of you regardless, even if I hate you. But that's how brothers are. He gave me the down payment, and then I called him, or Timmy, and then I said, hey, I have the money. I'm ready to 110% be in this boot camp.
Let's go.
And then you joined the boot camp.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so amazing to have a brother like that. Because
I
I have great brothers myself, but they're not like, hey, here's $5,000.
Yeah, to have somebody that believes so much in you, to be able to give you that money or just to have faith in you, that is the biggest trust, just like, hey, you know what, you got this. Not a lot of people get that. And so, man, you're lucky to have that. And you know what? And you took that and you were not afraid to ask and you actually invest in yourself. And then that resulted in what you have right now, and actually being able to pay back your brother even more. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So now I'm curious, right? So you figured out a way to get into the boot camp, figured out the payments. You're like, hey, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to invest in myself. I'll join this. But now I'm curious, and people who are probably listening to this are curious, how did you go from that to being able to get a job? So like, walk me through what happened, kind of step by step.
Ooh,
Yeah. What
okay.
made this different that allowed you to get there?
Yeah. This is so at first I just thought, hey, I already did a boot camp. This boot camp is just gonna be review of what I just missed. I basically missed everything about JavaScript when I did this boot camp. So we missed, what is it? Hexadecimal was our very first lesson. I was like, what is this? What do you mean zeros and ones? I thought computers you just type it in, they know what the heck they're talking about. Well, I've been learning softwares at different companies, so you just have to type in and then it saves itself. I didn't know there's like a whole like different dimension basically to it. So first week, I hated it. To be honest, I hated it. It was like, Nas, I love you and everything. You're the best instructor I ever had. But the first week, you put me in the hot seat every single time we had class. And then
You
I
know
was
it, man. That's what we do.
anyone else. It's whoever like, I feel like it's like top 5. He's like, you think you know what you're talking about. Okay. So he picks on you. And then it started out.
I wanted to test you, right? I'm here to test students, right? To make sure that you guys know what you're talking about. Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so that's when you realize what you don't know.
Yeah. So it was at the same time I was like, man, hot seat's different. I'm just having cold sweat. I'm like not really relaxed learning in class. Like this is different from any class I've ever been in. So after a while it got fun and then it got really challenging, but we were all excited. And I think the best part of this boot camp was how we all became like family within a week or two. Like there wasn't I'll be scared to message this person because I never met this person. There was none of that. My first thing when I first came in was my last boot camp. Every time I try to crack a joke, I'm more of like a class clown just to break the ice with like the group that I'm in, just to makes everyone welcome first. Because I already feel like I'm okay. But for other students or like people, it's hard for them to break in and talk about themselves or like be comfortable talking to you, vice versa. So I made a joke about hexadecimals, and it still lasts to this day. And I was afraid when I cracked that joke, no one's gonna laugh. I was like, oh, it's gonna be another boot camp. I feel it. I feel it.
But now remember that we're gonna get T-shirts that says 15.
Yeah. So that's the crazy part. How the study group that we have. I feel like I can hit up anyone in the group and be like, hey, I need help with this code, and they're like, yeah, you got time to Zoom? Like you'll get that from instructors. You don't usually get that from students. You usually get like, hey, if you hit up an instructor, they'd be like, yeah, just give me some time. I'll make time for you. Not for my last boot camp, but this boot camp. And then if you hit up a student, like, hey, you have time to study, they're like, yeah, just give me 10, 15 minutes. I might have, and we're all over the world. This could be, Martin was 1 a.m. and I hit him up and he was like, yeah, I can help you understand some code. He sent me some links and stuff like that. The links don't make sense because I don't know but they were there. And then every time we meet, every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, you have a bad day or have a good day. Nas comes in, makes us stretch, makes us feel comfortable, and then we relax for the first 5-10 minutes of class, and we
Makes
go
you
right
guys dance too every
I
call.
know it.
Yeah. Right. We walk like he's like, I don't care. 2-piece combo to the head of coding. Like he knows we have a headache from it. We know we're confused, but it slowly like hits. Like at HackerRank, he introduced a HackerRank leak code, and at first I looked at. So my last problem I figured out was I can't problem solve. I can problem solve in real life, but when it comes down to coding, it's a lot different. Like you're giving instructions of how to stuff out, and then you're giving a process of how do you break this down to write out, so you do pseudocode, and then the next step after that is to write the code. So Nas will do like a bunch of examples. It can be try, binary search, it can be stack, queue, all that. But he would write us out in pseudocode, basically writing us the code. We just have to figure out what the code is in JavaScript. And then at first I was like, oh damn it, JavaScript, data structures. This is different. I didn't learn this from the last boot camp. They just told us how to make an app, and they gave us the bootstrap. All we have to do is write in the thing to make the buttons work. That's it. But now,
Can I just say I'm so proud of you for even being able to know what those are, like try, right?
Yeah.
Binary
Even him
tree,
saying it, I was
linked
like,
list. I'm like,
wow.
holy moly, like 90% of the people don't even know that, right? And so, but you being able to know that, understand it, right? You already understand problem solving. You already understand data structures, which is the foundation of programming, right? So, like, man, proud of you for even just knowing that, you know?
Yeah, and it's a singular reason why most people don't get jobs.
Yeah.
Because their foundations are weak.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that. So let's just say data structures in real life. He's teaching us how to break things down in code and then figure out how to solve them. But I also use that in real life, that you can break stuff down and solve it. See, there's always a solution to something. You just have to figure out how to do the step by step. So at first, it was very difficult. I had a hard time with HackerRank because there's so much problems. There's easy, medium, advanced, and then Nas introduced us to try hybrid. I hated that the most, but it was.
What is
He
that?
decided to put two together. I don't know why.
It's just it's combined. So my goal is always to have what you learn here and have what you learn here, and to combine it, right? Because it's not just about knowing like stacks or queues. It's about learning. Okay, how do I use both of them right together? How do I use a tree together with a linked list or something like that, right? So you've been able to use all the different tools in your tool belt together. That's what makes you a powerful developer, right? And so my goal is always to kind of mix and match with that.
Yeah. So let's get to the fun part where I decided to do an internship at this certain company. I'm not gonna say the name. I'm very superstitious. So until I see that piece of paper with the offer sheet, I'm not even gonna mention the name. I just told you guys, but I'm not gonna mention it again because I'm very superstitious until I get that first direct deposit, and then I'll brag all day I want. So about a month ago, I was really having a hard time keeping up with class, and I got offers from different places. Not offers, but like.
And before we
Hey,
continue,
hey,
this is how long were you in the boot camp so far? Just so we're aware.
When we started January,
Yeah.
March, 2 months.
So you were
2
2
months.
months into the program. Got it. Continue.
And then so I'm a type of person where I have to know the code. I have to be ready for this interview. I have to be, 100% before I get to this interview, or I'm not going to do the interview. Jesse, one of the instructors, let's say TA, part of the Clever program, was like, just do it. If you get hired, you just got hired 2 months in the boot camp. Why are you not applying? Like, there's a bunch of people that apply 100, 200 applications. They don't get it. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, like, the mindset of just like being nervous and being scared is not going to be good for you because you'll never want to do it. Like before this, I used to sell vacuums and I did Amazon Flex. It was like jobs I hated. But if I can do that, why can't I just, apply for a job and then let's see if they like me just as a person, or if I'm just, critical thinker, or if I'm just a problem solver, and they just have to reteach me how they code. But as long as I get the foot in the door, at least they're paying me to relearn how to code like them. So I was like, man, forget it. I'm just going to apply 20, 30 jobs. But my main goal is this certain job since 2019. How the CEO is, how the company is run. It's in Seattle. I want to be part of this business. I'll be intern. I apply to be intern. I'll do janitor work. I'll bring people's coffee. I'll get people's mail. You want me to clean your shoe? I'll clean your shoe. I just want to be part of this company. I don't care what I have to do. I'll print paper all day if you want me to. I'll walk around with you while you do sales, or I'll hold your umbrella. I don't care. I just want to be part of this company. So I've been to their meeting, a lot of Zoom calls. I don't know what's going on in the business, but it's because I'm a novice to the company. So after a while, they said, hey, you want to come in, check out our facility, as long as you get vaccine or stuff like that, or you just come in with a COVID negative results. So I walked in for a few times, and I loved it. The atmosphere is just like a Clever programmer. They want you to learn. All employees are treated equal. there's just this mindset where it reminds me so much of Clever Programmer. I was like, this is even a plus. I'm gonna stay here until I resolve stuff in Seattle, and then I decide to come down to California to be part of Clever Programmer. But that's the main goal. And then when I got the offer, what was it? Yesterday. Yesterday. I'm going to today. I got the offer yesterday. I was sitting right here in the same exact spot, and I looked at myself and I looked at the stack full mastery, and I was like, I want to tell people. But the very first person I wanted to call was you, Nas, but you never want to answer back.
I was busy, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was busy.
And then I called Frankie, didn't even pick up. So at that time, it was 11 a.m. I joined Jessie's React class that she hosts every Tuesday, and I told her. And after I told her, I was about to cry. So I ran, grabbed my dogs, ran to the car, and I cried. And I listened to the radio. I just drove around because I couldn't really believe it. I just drove around for like 25, 35 minutes. Kazi and Frankie called me around like 2, 3 o'clock PST time. And they're like, we heard you got the job. And I was like, yeah, but there's something else that happened. And I've been very quiet about this because Nas taught us, don't say it until you get it. Just get it first, and then you can brag all you want. So another position came up, not really a position, but my brother-in-law runs a real estate and remodel houses, and he resells the houses and stuff like that. But the thing for his clients is he doesn't have he doesn't want to do a form to write out the parts he needs to remodel, how much the price is. So he decided to hire me to make his website with a database where he can see the pricing for each place that we pick up the like wood or like how many nails you need and stuff like that, or if you want a new bathtub or like stuff like that. So he said that he'll pay me $2,000 every 2 weeks. And that
damn.
I was like, are you sure you want to pay me that much? Like I'll do it for free.
For what? For what? What is he going to be paying you for?
He's paying me just to make website control, and then I'll basically be his assistant of like, hey, what did they buy? Put it together, go get the parts, and then I have a van or truck, and I just have to drop off the part. But he's paying me $2,000 just to do a little bit of heavy lifting, but control like maintenance of his website. I am thinking I might not be able to do it myself, so I am gonna partner up with one of my old teammates. We're both
have somebody else do the physical work. You do the web development work.
Yeah. But I'm fine. It's a family business, so I can do anything to help his business grow. And
so I'm paying you. So this is what does that mean for a year? If it's like a year long, that's like what, 4,000 a month?
Yeah,
4,000 a month. 52, I think. Give me just 1 second. Okay. So 4,000 times 12 is $48,000.
48,000. So that's outside of. So that's 48,000 a year doing this outside of
your current job.
$70,000 a year job that you're hopefully going to get, right? Knock on wood.
Yes.
But we're pretty sure that you're going to get it. So that would, if you had both of them, that would be 70,000 a year plus the 48,000. So that's about 120 something thousand, which is fantastic, dude. And that's your first job as a developer. I mean, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I didn't believe it when you guys a couple months ago said, stay with us. There's a chance to show initiative, work hard, learn how to code.
We know our shit, baby. We know our shit. Let's go.
The boot camp, when we first came in, it was like everyone that did the boot camp did like a retreat that has 101 guidance from you guys as mentors. Minimum 52. I would never imagine my salary would be times 2 of that. I would never imagine. I'm happy with just the 70, but then when my brother-in-law was like, hey, I see that you're doing good in this boot camp and you're always going to school. Like I'm always texting him like, hey, I'll be late. I gotta finish this class. I don't care if it's 8 o'clock. I'll go to Home Depot at 9 o'clock. I don't care, but I have to do this now and then I can leave. So he just showed like I'll be working to like with him, 11 to midnight. Sometimes he just sees like, hey, this kid is doing school, trying to get a full-time job, plus helping me on the side because he old, so he can't really lift that much. And then he's just like, instead of just I said I'll do it for free, just to show that hey, it's a family business. I'll take care of things. We're doing this together. It's family. But the fact that he's like, hey, I'll pay you from just the profit he makes from selling houses. He'll just pay me every 2 weeks or just pay me once a month. I don't mind a 4,000.
That's
I don't mind.
fantastic.
On
That's
top of that,
yeah.
you get to learn, right? So
Yeah.
it's always a learning opportunity at the same time. You get basically be paid to learn. It doesn't get better. But Ang, I wanted to ask you a question. Okay, so what did you like? You told me one thing. When I got on a call with you, and I called you, I was like, "Holy shit, it's amazing, Ang!" And I was so happy for you, right? You told me one thing in terms of what you learned from this boot camp that really really transformed your mindset when you went into the interview. Like, what was it? Tell me.
Dude, this just happened last Tuesday, right? It just happened. No, last Sunday. My bad. I'm losing track of days now. So Sunday, we had a student, I'm not gonna say his name, that was working at internship, and then he was just describing how his internship was going. Nas was like, be the CEO of wherever the hell you want to work. You have to go in there, show initiative. You have to show that you can make more money for this company. Let's just say you're irreplaceable, basically. Like, you got to know what you're talking about. You can show it's the action that matters. You can show that you can actually do this. So I walked into that interview. I was like, I'm not going to be nervous. I'm not going to cross my legs. I'm not going to show hand motion, even though I had a button up and I had like boxers on, but they couldn't really see the bottom of my. So they just had to see the
Make you
top.
zoom.
All they had to see is professional and then like homebody at the bottom. So
Professional and then
I walked in. I was
boxers.
like, I was very outgoing. I made a lot of jokes. They see that I'm a very outgoing person. I made the room kind of like it's fun. Like, we're here to have fun. You're here to see how I am as a person. This is how I am as a person. I'll get stuff done. I'm not going to complain or make excuses. There's no excuses. It's either you do it or you don't do it. There's no like, I don't know what happened. It's either you didn't do it or you didn't do it, or you did it. So the fact that Nas just changed the mindset of just like making excuses, blaming other people, like, you didn't do this. The fact that I used to blame my old boot camp for how I didn't like coding was completely wrong. It was wrong. There's bunches of developers that came out of that boot camp. It's just my experience was bad. That's one out of like, hundreds of kids that did that boot camp. But instead of making that excuse, I decided to join this boot camp and listen to what Nas had to say, Liam had to say, Jesse had to say, Daniel every time he popped in and here and there, Kazi coming up with like exercise throughout the class. Like, just do it. And then the outcome would be all the outcome would depend on you. Is you do it or not? If you don't do it, you're not become a developer.
So
If you
on,
do it,
let me okay.
like
Another interesting thing I want to ask you is, in this boot camp, what were some of the hardest moments for you?
Oh, that's interesting. I bet there are a lot.
Okay, so this part, I thought it was pretty funny. So we just got done with data structures, right? And Liam kind of gave us a hint that we're gonna go to front end. And I was like, oh, front end's easy. All I have to do is display flex. That's all I have to do. Easy. And then he gave us this Pornordora app of like a timer and then
Pomodoro,
yeah. And I'm just sitting there. I was like, how are you supposed to make the timer go with the orange circular to like match up? And then I was like, not the front end was easy. God, that is a lie. So the fact that I underestimated front end is just as hard as back end because you have to be, it's just as hard. So I was like, okay, no more data structures. Thank God. But there's no way this boot camp is going to be easy. I already knew that was going to be in mind. Like, there's no way that he takes a relaxing 2 weeks. There's never a time that he takes like the easy 2 weeks. So we decided to go back inside front end, and then we did a couple of apps and front ends from front end mentor. And I was like, oh, he's just trying to try to get us back in front end, learn a bit, before we get inside React. And the most challenging was switching from data structures where I thought I had a grasp on, and then he decided to do a front end Spotify search bar with, instead of using JavaScript, he wants you to use link lists and autocomplete, insert. And I was just
Who
like,
did?
what is going on? Why did you just
We did.
do API call for it? And then we did do that, but he started out with API async await functions first. And then he goes, there's a better way to do it with React. So we bumped into React, and I'm just like sitting back. I sat back in class one time, and it's like, this project isn't done, this project isn't done, that project isn't done. But Nas's number one thing is just do it. You have to do it. If you do it, you get it, you turn it in. You get to look back once you add that to your portfolios, you did this app. But it wasn't easy at all. It's very challenging, very challenging. It's very hard. I'm not gonna say you should think of this as boot camp where Nas is gonna show you the demonstrations and then give you activities and then like tutor you how to code and then move on. Hell no. He would legitimately call, like, he would finish a code and then he'd be like, who do I think not paying attention or who's pretending to pay attention? And he calls us out on it, which at first I was like, oh, this is fun. But then he starts calling me out only sometimes. And I'm just like, I got this. I'm not nervous no more. but then you still sometimes, yeah, sometimes you explain your code, and then he asks you, well, why? And that's where some people's like.
But here's the thing: by calling you out, right, that made you more vigilant. But also by calling you out, it made you more confident to go into the interview.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you a question. For you, what was it that they hired you for, right? Like, I didn't get that part from you. Like, what was it? Only the behavioral questions? Like, was it you cracking jokes and them just loving your vibe and they thought, hey, let's just bring this person on? Or what made them say yes to bringing you on into their company and giving you a job offer?
So they gave me like different, let's say, situations of how I would deal with, problem solving. So let's say, for example, if a software is messing up, how would I go to solve it with no help? Let's say IT's that you're basically IT, but let's say no one's there to help you. How would you solve this? How would you go about it? Well, one thing I learned from Ingrid, one of your past students, is she wrote out a list of how she solved things: is output, input, complexity, pseudocode, and then code. So when you break that down into bits and pieces, as you know how the software works, you know how to debug it, because once you learn how to debug it, you should know how that software works. Figure out like what's the problem. The first, like, complexity is like, what is wrong with it? Is there different ways to solve it? And let's say pseudocode. What are the steps of making this, let's say, problem solving of how did that error come up in the first place? For, let's say, step one. Step two would be trying to figure out how to solve that problem. And step three is just solve it. And there's a lot of stuff they asked me, how would I deal with, like, if I was stuck on something, if I couldn't, like, I couldn't learn it or something like that, like a learning situation where everyone goes to. I just told them, hey, I'm gonna take a walk with my dogs, or when I get home, if I can't solve it that day, I'm gonna take a break, come back, but I'm gonna think about it all night. That's all we think about is how to solve that problem all night. And when I get back inside the next day, I'm going to solve that.
And did they ask you any technical questions as well, or no?
They asked me a few. It was I think they asked me linked lists, how to make a linked list, how to catch API, or how to fetch API. I think there's one more, but I couldn't really remember.
Did you solve any of them, or did you fail in those questions when you were answering?
I failed the second technical question because I was at that time, it was an hour and a half in. They asked me at the very end, so I was like, my energy is basically kind of gone. I was just kind of like just thinking of ways of how to solve the problem, and I wasn't like quiet about it. I was like scratching my head, or I was like rubbing my chin is usually when I think. But one thing about me is when I get nervous, I make jokes. But at that time, I knew it's not time to make jokes. This is serious. So I was like, at this time, I'm just going to be like, hey, this is how I would solve it, step by step by step. But if something error pops up, my resources would be books or Google. And at that time, I would use that to solve this problem. Going forward, if there's people around me, then I'll ask for help. But these are the first steps that I would do to go back to output, input, complexity, pseudocode, code.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and that's actually very important. Is like, right, when you go ahead and when you go to the interview, it's not just that you being able to solve the problem, it's you being able to talk through it,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what they're looking for. Is they're looking for people who can communicate, who can talk through a problem. Even for example, if they can't fully write it, or maybe
Yeah.
they get it wrong. The most importantly, hey, can you talk with someone? Can you work with a team to solve it?
Yeah, because you're going to be working with a team, and they want to see how would this person communicate their lack of understanding or their actual understanding to other people on the team. And if they screw up, will they take ownership, or will they lie and make up bullshit and not take ownership over this? So all of those things come into play. So even when you're on Zoom calls and Nas is calling you out, you working under that pressure, answering him, explaining is really helping you even for those interviews. So I love that, like how your journey went. It had, it's like you had to learn coding and master that. But on top of it, you have to actually be confident, take a chance in yourself, right? And actually apply for that internship, even though mentally you were like, hey, I'm not going to apply. So like Jesse and Nas pushed you to apply, right? So it's a lot of it is mindset work as well. That's incredible. I mean, you have this amazing job offer. So tell me, what does your life look like after going from this boot camp? Like, what is it going to be looking like for you now? What are you excited about?
I'm mostly excited to start there. I know the first few months is a lot of adjusting, but I'm very lenient. I'm ready to learn as much as I can. I'm at an age where I don't want to stop learning, because I already invested so much money on coding. So there's more steps. I want to learn how to play guitar. I want to learn like a bunch of stuff more and stuff like that. I want to learn how to dance from Nas, but that can wait down the road. But it's just at this moment in time, I wanted to from all my past things is I always wanted a stable job. I always wanted a job where they care about the employees. The CEO is inspirational to me. Like I even messaged him right when I got the job, like you're still inspiration to me. I still want to clean your shoes, but I'm just saying, you gotta stay humble and hungry at the same time. It's just the mindset of I don't know how it is gonna be in the future, because I haven't thought that far, but the fact that I'm not nervous no more, or the fact that I'm not like scared of like what am I gonna do in 5-10 years? Like, am I gonna deliver mail? Am I going to do Amazon Flex? Am I going to learn how to become an electrician so I can work for Boeing, for an airplane company? Like, I don't have to do that no more. The plan that I set out from 2009 to basically yesterday, knock on wood, is accomplished. My next goal is to work at this place first, until I feel comfortable enough about my skills, where maybe one day I'll go down to California and work with you guys.
Dude,
And maybe even
that's fantastic.
make it even bigger than it is now. And we decide to open up like a school or something down there. Who knows?
We are planning to do that.
That'd be
is gonna
amazing.
exciting. And we would love to talk about that. So, dude, I'm so excited. You're like, just to flashback, right? You come into this program. You're doing Postmates, making $20,000 a year. You go through this. Now you're potentially looking at making between $70,000 to $128,000 a year. That is absolutely freaking fantastic, dude. You should be really proud of yourself for putting in the work, taking the chance on yourself, being humble, having that humility, deflecting with humor. But I think that helps, people like you for that, right? So this is
like around.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I love that. Lightheartedness is freaking awesome, dude.
For that.
So now this is amazing. I'm excited. Would you recommend somebody who's thinking about joining Full Stack Mastery Bootcamp and wants to be a part of it, and they're thinking about it, they're on the fence, would you recommend this program to them?
No hesitation.
And why?
No hesitation.
Tell them why.
Man, you just have to come in. For me, come on, I just almost gave up coding. But the fact that the instructors care, even if you go, you don't ever have to hit them up. They hit you up through messages like, hey, how are you doing with this code? Like, the effort that you guys put in to actually care about the students is number one. The fact that if the students know that the instructors care, they give their effort even more. And the fact that you hear rumors about other boot camps, like how come they never succeed to like they probably do succeed just depending on the person, but the fact that the rumors of like school or like DAP and stuff like that, and now if you just join this post mastery bootcamp, there's a better chance of you actually getting a job, and they're going to help you until you get a job. They're going to help you with databases, front end, back end, mock interviews. You can practice doing a capstone. Capstone basically there's people coming in that want you to build their website, and you work as a team. You talk to the client to build them a website, and in the end, what other places can you get all that within the time frame of you being a part of the boot camp? And it's the only thing difficult I see is the time of how we are not. So for boot camp is usually like states or US, but you guys are global. Global. Like you can help people from India, Vietnam, Russia. As long as they're a part of this, they're able to get in without being 10, 15, $20,000 in debt. And you guys have a payment plan that works out. You guys have a team that will communicate with us. Let's say you can afford it, they'll work out a plan for you to even attend as long as you're committed. As long as you put in time, class is going to be fun. It's going to be challenging. There's probably going to be some days where you don't want to go to class. But the fact that if you feel like coding is hard, once you join the coaching call every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, you want to continue coding. That's so great about Nas is you feel so much of a headache. You don't want to code no more. And then when you get inside coaching call, it just clicks instantly. So where can you get that anywhere else? School, you just be like, I don't want to go to class. I'll just skip class. Forget class. Even though I paid $20,000 for class, sometimes you don't want to go for class.
Bro.
But even if just you want to be in this class.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, bro. Thank you so much for jumping on here and like sharing this with us.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. Like seriously, this is absolutely crazy to be able to do that in 3 months timeline. I know you had some previous experience, I understand, but still like it's something that is one for the books. And we don't give you a certification, we just give you a job. That's our focus. Okay?
I think you're pretty happy with that, huh?
Awesome.
But that can be,
That could happen later.
For sure.
Absolutely amazing. Well, thank you for being on here, brother.
Appreciate
and we
you, man.
appreciate you so much, man.
Anything for Nas.
Let's
If
go.
I clean his shoes, I'll probably clean his shoes and his Tesla rims. I got him.
Go. All right, bro.
Amazing.
You know it. You know it.
Yeah.
All right, take care,
Before
brother.
I leave,
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you guys so much. Like, it's crazy the fact that 3 months ago, I don't know if I'm about to cry, but I'm saying 3 months ago, I was about to be, something I didn't want to be just to make my grandma happy. But now I can become something that I'm happy in. And my grandma didn't really care. She just says, it doesn't say engineer in your name, but that's how Asian parents are. It was just, she's happy that I got the job, plus my brother-in-law. But the fact that I'm having fun, she sees me enjoy class. Like I'm rewatching the thing on my phone and I'm just laughing, giggling in class while I'm at the hospital with her. So the fact that she sees me have fun, I'm going to help her with her bills now. And I don't know, my life did basically a 180 in 3 months. I thank you guys the most for this. Just 3 months ago, I was fanboying over Kazi, so now I want to be part of his team, but let's say that's for the future.
Dude, that's
amazing.
Awesome. Me and Frankie were crying our eyes out yesterday, so my tears are out.
Made me emotional yesterday. It makes me emotional right now.
Yeah. But dude, I'm so happy, dude. This is amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us and being a part of this and trusting us to help you. And thank you, bro. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure. It's a pleasure teaching you, man. And it's always a pleasure knowing that, you got where you want to be. And to us, that is the best.
Amazing. Thank you, brother.
Hop in from time just to annoy the class.
Yes, do that.
Okay,
do
it. Let's go.
All right, brother.
Have yourself an amazing day, okay?
Have a good one, bro.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So, guys, if this is exciting for you and this is something you're interested in, and it was an amazing story that we heard from An, and we want you, as happy as we are for An, we want you to be the next person that gets results like these, okay? So what we're going to do right now is what I want you to do, if you're interested and you want to get results like these, okay? Shoot me a text message. This is my phone number, okay? Shoot us a text message at, I hate sounding like an infomercial with this, but really it's the actual number. It's
our
community
number,
right?
Yeah.
So shoot a text at 1224-651-8817.
Yeah.
And just send me the word boot camp. That's it.
Just text the boot camp to that number, and that's it. And we'll actually personally respond to you.
That's it. Yep. And then we can tell you about it. If you have any questions, we can definitely answer them for you. And if you're a good fit and it makes sense, we can let you know how it works. Okay.
Just to let you know, not everybody does get in. Depends on how committed you are and what you can do. Right. But we're going to be there to figure out, if you are a good fit. And if you are, you'll be able to join.
Yeah. We have an application process and everything that we can tell you about. But, 76% to 78% people, we unfortunately do not accept them because we want to make sure we're taking the people that are that can actually put in that work and succeed. And
bring good energy. That's the most important thing. If you don't, then unfortunately that's not a good fit.
Yep. So with that said, we would want you to be the next success story. And if you want that for yourself, go ahead and do that. With that said, this is your boy Kazi.
And Naz.
We will see you
in the next video.